Hello and welcome. You're watching Race to Power with me, Ananya Datta. Coming up in this broadcast, India is gearing up for its second last phase of general election, and that has brought all the top political faces on the country on the campaign raid. In the United States, the abortion debate is back on the forefront. Donald Trump is giving mixed signals and Joe Biden is looking to get the better end of the debate. The road to campaigning is getting crowded in India, with top party leaders stepping up their pitch and assuring the voters that change is on the way.
5 phases completed, 2 more to go. Spanning over 44 days, India's general elections are just a week from conclusion. Ahead of the 6th phase, the road to campaigning was crowded. Delhi gave a rousing welcome to its Chief Minister, Arvind Kejriwal. The crowd cheered at him at a late-night appearance as he stood atop his car, targeting the Prime Minister.
मेरे को प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जेल क्यों भेजा? मैं तो छोटा सा आदमी हूँ, छोटी सी मेरी पार्टी है, हमारी 2 राज्यों में सरकार है, दिल्ली में, पंजाब में। प्रधानमंत्री जी तो इतने बड़े, इतने शक्तिशाली हैं, इतने पावरफुल हैं, पूरे देश के राजा हैं, फिर उन्होंने मेरे को जेल क्यों भेजा? वो दिल्ली के काम रोकना चाहते हैं।
The Delhi Chief Minister often mentioned his time behind bars. Kejriwal is out on interim bail in the liquor policy case. The bail ends on the 2nd of June when he'll have to surrender to authorities a day after polling ends. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also joined the campaign trail, addressing rallies in Uttar Pradesh and Delhi. Both states go to polls in the 6th phase. In earlier speeches in Delhi, Modi asked Delhiites to lead the way towards a corruption-free nation.
इंडी गठबंधन वालों का, सपा कांग्रेस वालों का सुशासन से और हमारी आस्था से 36 का रिश्ता है। भारत का कोना कोना इस बात की गवाही देता है कि इंडी गठबंधन वालों से विकास नहीं हो सकता।
In neighbouring Haryana, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi also campaigned hard. In the agrarian state, farmers' issues are high on the ballot. Rahul Gandhi promised to scrap the Agniveer military recruitment scheme that the centre rolled out to recruit 17 to 21-year-olds into the armed forces.
ये योजना नरेंद्र मोदी की योजना है, ये सेना की योजना नहीं है, सेना इसे नहीं चाहती है, ये पीएमओ से योजना बनाई गई है। तो मैं पहली बात आपको कहना चाहता हूं, इंडिया की सरकार आएगी, अग्निवीर योजना को उठाकर हम कूड़ेदान में फेंक देंगे।
The 6th phase of the general polls will take place on the 25th of May. 58 Lok Sabha constituencies spread across 6 states and 2 union territories will go to polls. Polling for the 7th and last phase will conclude on the 1st of June, while results will be declared on the 4th of June. 970 million people were eligible to vote in this massive election exercise. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
So all eyes are set on the 6th phase that is set to take place this Friday. One city that has made the maximum political noise in the past few weeks is India's national capital, New Delhi. WION special correspondent Johan Castell went out on the streets to gauge the mood of the capital.
As an intense heat wave grips the capital of India, New Delhi, WION got out to check the election temperature. The battleground for 7 Lok Sabha seats is on the boil.
I think Modi is going to win by the looks of it.
I think this time it's going to be a little tough.
BJP is going to make hat-trick. This time it's Congress time.
BJP, due to very good work.
Congress will win this election.
So I'm here with Kanika in Khan Market. Kanika, who do you think is going to win in the election this time around?
I think it's Modi. It's non-negotiable, according to me.
Last two elections, it was pretty much clear that people wanted to vote for Modi. He had a really huge following at that point in time, but this time there is not a very big issue. All the promises that this government made, they delivered, but it kind of did not make an impact on the people.
BJP is going to make hat-trick. For the last 10 years they are ruling the country, and now this time, so 24 to 29, they will win, and they are doing good work for the country.
From Connaught Place, we then moved to gauge the mood of Delhiites in the north. The food hotspot of the city, Chandni Chowk.
Actually, there are lots of the people who are thinking that BJP will come on with 400 seats. At least they will win at least 400. So they are campaigning or also that we will win 400 seats totally. So it's a misconception for them. I thought that Congress will win this election.
After 10 years, NDA working, I thought this time it's Congress time.
Over the past few weeks, Delhi has witnessed several political twists and turns, including Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's arrest in a liquor graft case on the 21st of March by the Enforcement Directorate. For now, Kejriwal, who claims to be innocent, is out on interim bail and is campaigning for the polls.
140 करोड़ लोगों से भीख मांगने के लिए आऊं मेरे देश को बचा लो मेरे भारतवर्ष को बचा लो मेरा भारत।
His party did not win a single seat in the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. On the other hand, BJP swept all 7 seats and is confident to retain them all.
24 का ये चुनाव मजबूत भारत बनाने के लिए है.
All eyes are on the battle for Delhi in the 6th phase on 25th May.
Now, volatility in the Indian stock market has increased as the country approaches the final leg of the 2024 Lok Sabha election. The India VIX, a key measure of market volatility, has risen significantly after the first phase of polls. Now, this spike is largely due to concerns about lower voter turnout in the elections, which might signal a less favourable outcome for the ruling party. Low voter participation in the early phases of the election has raised worries about the re-election prospects of the Narendra Modi government, leading to market uncertainty. Investors fear that a potential change in government could disrupt ongoing reforms and affect political stability, which the market generally favours. Additionally, global factors are contributing to market nervousness. Foreign investors have been selling off Indian equities, shifting their focus to Chinese markets due to relatively cheaper valuations. The US Federal Reserve's decision to delay interest rate cuts is also impacting global market sentiment. Despite these challenges, India's macroeconomic indicators remain strong. The domestic economy is growing rapidly. Record GST collections and a healthy monsoon forecast are positive signs. However, the earnings season has been lackluster, with slower revenue growth for many companies. As the election results approach, market volatility is expected to remain high. The outcome could influence short-term market movements, but experts believe that long-term fundamentals and global economic conditions will ultimately shape the market's direction. Who has the best plan for the UK economy? This question was put to voters who believe that Labour Party's Keir Starmer has a better plan for the country than in the incumbent Rishi Sunak for the future. Last week, Keir Starmer's Labour Party made 6 pledges, promising economic stability, cutting off NHS waiting lists, extra teachers, a secure border command, setting up Great British Energy and a crackdown on anti-social behaviour. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak claimed that only his party had a plan to improve the economy and stop small boats from crossing the channel. He said a vote for Labour would take the country back to square one because it has no plan. Rishi Sunak used the word plan 41 times in a news conference in January, as he vowed that he would stick to it. But a survey of a little over 2,000 adults conducted between May 17th and 19th showed how Sunak's slogan is not actually working. When asked who had a better plan for the country, 42% said Keir Starmer has the better plan, whilst 27% believe that Rishi Sunak's Tories do, giving Labour a lead of 15%. 30% of respondents weren't sure. Among 2019 Tory voters, just 52% say Sunak has the better plan for the country compared to 19% backing Starmer. In contrast, among 2019's Labour voters, over 78% say Starmer has the better plan, with 11% backing Sunak. Despite his popularity nosediving amid the multiple scandals plaguing the UK government, Rishi Sunak feels that he can change the tide, announcing that he has been able to control inflation, signalling brighter days for the economy as well as the country.
We collectively can send a very clear message that if you come here illegally.
Now, the abortion debate is back in the United States. Former President Donald Trump seems to have walked back on his earlier remark. He now says he doesn't advocate restrictions on contraceptions. Trump categorically said, and I'm quoting, "I do not support a ban on birth control, and neither will the Republican Party." The statement comes after an outcry over Trump's earlier comments came to fore. The former president is giving mixed signals on the issue. It is reflective of how reproductive rights are a vulnerable topic, especially in the election climate. A 2023 Gallup poll suggests that a vast majority of Americans approve of birth control, with 88% seeing it as morally acceptable. Trump's doublespeak comes the same day lawmakers in Louisiana moved to restrict abortion pill. Just for clarification, a birth control pill is taken through the month to negate chances of pregnancy. It doesn't 100% guarantee it and also comes with a host of side effects. Abortion pill, on the other hand, is for pregnancy termination. It needs to be taken up to the first 10 weeks of the pregnancy. Coming back to Louisiana, the state has approved a bill that would criminalize possession of abortion pills without a prescription. The bill still needs to be passed by the state Senate. The Republican state has already banned abortion in the state. It allows abortion with very limited exceptions, like in cases of risk to the mother's life or fetus with fatal abnormalities. Reacting to Louisiana's decision, President Joe Biden's re-election campaign said that it would hold a virtual news conference. The Blue Camp views reproductive rights as a vote-winning issue. This polarization is just the tip of the iceberg. Abortion has become a political debate across the US, especially after the overturning of Roe v. Wade in 2022. A decades-old ruling that federally guaranteed abortion rights. Since Roe v. Wade's overturning, massive protests have broken out, with thousands of women and men out on the streets. But how much of this anger will actually transcend in the November elections, that remains to be seen. Now, to get us the latest, we are being joined by our correspondent Susan Tehrani live from New York. Susan, good to see you. We want to ask you, how big is the abortion debate in this year's November election?
Yeah, the abortion debate is very big. There's a new poll that came out that said that it's the biggest among self-described Democrats, 24%. Suburban women, 24%. Self-described liberals, 23%. Black voters, less, 17%. And those with a college degree, 17%. Voters under the age of 30, 16%. But those self-described Democrat voters is where the audience lies. And, you know, among independents, again, polls differ on where they stand regarding this issue. But it's definitely going to be a hot button issue moving forward. I don't know if we have time or not. I just want to say how this walking back Donald Trump's comments came about from the Biden administration, and then our viewers can decide whether or not this was walking back or not. His direct quote was, when asked by a Pittsburgh station whether he supports any restriction on a person's right to contraception, this was his answer. He said, we're looking at that, and I'm going to have a policy on that very shortly. So he never said that he supports that. He said that we're looking at it and we're going to have a policy on that very shortly. But because it's such a hot topic issue, and this is, a campaign issue for the Biden administration, they came out and said that this is what President Trump meant. And that's why he came out by saying, I never said that, and the Republican Party isn't going to support contraceptions.
All right, Susan, thank you for all those updates from New York. So now we are slipping into a short break, but don't go too far. On the other side, we tell you why a probable female president is making feminists skeptical in Mexico.
Know more, understand better, think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Get the facts, not the bombast. On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists, Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays, 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
Shock and panic in the Democratic Republic of Congo as the army foils a coup attempt and arrests 50 people, including 3 Americans. After Niger, newly elected Senegalese Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko now calls for an end to French occupation and even criticizes the presence of the French military in the West African nation. And the kora, a Western African stringed instrument, makes a resounding return thanks to Gambian artist Sona Jorbate, Wild of Africa, at these times, only on WION.
Welcome back. You're watching Race to Power with me, Ananya Datta. Now, you might be surprised to know that only 16 countries worldwide have had a female head of government. Mexico might soon become the 17th country to join this list. The country is going to polls on 2nd of June, and the 2 frontrunners are both women. One is the ruling Morena Party's 61-year-old candidate, Claudia Sheinbaum, and the second is the opposition coalition's Galvez. While the prospect of the first female president should trigger pride, feminist groups are skeptical in Mexico. They argue that simply having a woman at the head of the government does not guarantee substantial changes. You see, gender-based violence is rampant in Mexico. According to the United Nations, an average of 10 women are killed every day in Mexico. Amnesty International estimates that over 1,400,000 people have disappeared or gone missing in Mexico between 1962 and last year. Disappearances are largely the result of drug cartel violence, and women become the obvious targets. The issue is high on the ballot in this year's election.
If you were to tell me that the serious problem of violence can be solved with a magic wand, just because we change parties or gender in the presidency of the Republic, my answer would be no. It is a structural problem that we have neglected. In the last 50 years, no government has done the education reform it should have. There was a regime reform and not an education reform. As long as men and women are not re-educated about the equality of men and women, discrimination remains, and it is the breeding ground for violence.
Se mantiene y es el caldo de cultivo de la violencia.
However, supporters of both candidates are optimistic of change. They see it as a milestone for the women in Mexico.
Women will have more opportunities because a woman will govern us. How does the government know what women want if those who lead us are men?
For the history of Mexico, this will be a great step forward, because it shows that we can all do it and that we all have the capacity to move forward, to take a country forward as other women presidents have done.
Now, just hours ago, Chad's Prime Minister resigned. This comes weeks after military government chief won the presidential polls.
Chadian opposition leader Suksay Masra said on Wednesday that he has tendered his resignation as Prime Minister. That's after interim President Mahamat Idris Deby was confirmed as winner of a disputed May 6th election. Masra had claimed victory in that vote before preliminary results were announced and alleged that electoral fraud was being planned. But last week, Chad's Constitutional Council dismissed challenges from Masra and another candidate and confirmed Deby as the winner, saying he had secured 61% of the vote. Masra has acknowledged the council's ruling and said there were no legal means to contest the result. He had previously gone into exile after dozens of his supporters were killed in clashes with Deby's security forces. But he returned at Deby's invitation last year and was appointed Prime Minister of Chad's transitional government in January. On Wednesday, Masra announced his resignation and that of the transitional government on social media, saying they had become irrelevant following the presidential election. The vote marks the first attempt at a return to constitutional rule among a group of West and Central African countries to have witnessed coups in recent years. Deby seized power after his long-ruling father was killed by rebels in 2021. The election victory prolongs the rule of the Deby family, that has had a firm grip on power since Deby's father took over, also via a coup, in the early 1990s.
Now, in other news, Vietnam's parliament has elected Police Minister Tu Lam as the country's new president. Analysts say that the move is a stepping stone for Lam to later bid for the position of chief of the ruling Communist Party. As head of the Public Security Ministry, Lam has been a crucial figure in a sweeping anti-graft campaign known as Blazing Furnace. This campaign was aimed at rooting out widespread corruption, but has also been seen by critics as a tool to sideline opponents during political infighting. The state president holds a largely ceremonial role, but is one of the country's top 4 political positions, the so-called 4 pillars of the country. The others are the party chief, the prime minister, and the parliament speaker. And with that, we are wrapping up this edition of Race to Power. Thanks for watching with me, Ananya Datta.
Yoga, the age-old Indian practice